there, I'm Margie Remmers-Davis, founder and CEO of Acadian Accounting Education, and this is a clip from one of our free Class Friday sessions. Stick around to the end and I'll share with you how you can join us live, absolutely free, every week. Now let's jump in. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to practice, fingers crossed. We've been trying to do this for 3 weeks now, to practice the new bank feed interface from Intuit, okay? So to complete this exercise, you will need that sample account, okay? So if you requested it, I know some of you did it this morning. Joel is back there quickly trying to add everybody to get them. When you click the link, I think, Lindsay, didn't you put together a little video of like what happens after you click the link? We need to get people that, because you have to actually like set up your account. And I should probably, this is all an experiment, by the way, just for those of you who are new. We typically do our exercises in the sample company, but I think I mentioned earlier that the sample company has not been updated to the new interface. And so how can we practice the new interface? We can't. So that's why we are trying something new. Okay, so yeah, Lindsay, we should include that link somewhere else too, maybe in the study guide. I don't know, we can talk about it later. Add it to our list of things to talk about. But the sample company, so we have access, because we're an education company, we have access to an education, we have an education version that we can give you, but we have not used it. We are still figuring it out. We've kind of gotten down pat on how to give people their company, but we have not, we haven't figured out. We don't know what we're doing. That's what I'm saying. We don't know what we're doing. We're still figuring it out. So give us some grace as we all figure out together how to use this sample account, okay? Can I use the sample company from a previous interaction? I am calling it very specifically a sample account, because it's not the sample company. The sample company as we know it, and maybe I need a different word that doesn't have the word sample at all. But when we use the term sample company, we're talking about Intuit's pre-populated account that resets every night, okay? What we're using now is a trial account, learning account, test account, classroom account. Yeah, that's a good one. Acadian account, I don't know. So when you say previous interaction, I don't know. My company for cleanup has the new look like the sample company. Oh, really? Oh, yes, because you signed up for a new account. All new accounts have that. All right, what am I doing here? I am going to, oh, that's right. I remember now, I got distracted. There we go. I need my Intuit code. And because I don't think I've accessed it on this computer. No, didn't I do it last? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Intuit is so confusing. All right, here we go. Yeah, make sure, so I can use the QBO training company from before. Yes. Joel, notice Joel says, just FYI, when you sign up on the spreadsheet for your education version of the sample company, I manually add your name to the education version, then I manually send you a link to access your sample company. So right now it's all a manual process. How do I get back to where I need to finish the setup for the QBO account? I clicked on the Intuit link, set a password, but I closed the window before answering all the questions. I don't know, Deborah. I'm sorry. We're all figuring this out together. We're all figuring this out. All right, I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay, so I should, hopefully most of you guys have your account and you figure it out. We'll get this. If we are going to continue using this version, we're going to iron this out. But we're still learning. So it used to be just so easy. I would say, okay, everybody go to acadian.com/QBOA, and then we're all doing it together. And now we have to figure out this new version. Hopefully Intuit will get their stuff figured out and we'll be able to do it. All right, to complete this exercise, you will need to request a sample account. Okay, so oh, actually, we could add that video here too, Lindsay. Once you've received the account, then, you know, follow these instructions to create it. I don't know, maybe. All right, so today we're going to be learning how to navigate Intuit's new bank feed center. Oh my gosh, guys. We're still figuring it out. We're still ironing out this process. So for those of you who do have access, maybe today you're just going to follow along and then you'll do it yourself later once you've got your sample company, your sample account set up. So I don't know. I'm just going to power through the exercise. Hopefully you guys can follow along, I'll answer questions as we can. But the first thing we have to do is we have to create an expense. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the bank feed, and so I want to create an expense so that I have something to match to in the bank feed. Okay, now all of our exercises we use a tool called Scribe to build out all of our exercises. And Scribe has a Google Chrome extension that you can load up. If you go to your little puzzle piece here and select Manage Extensions, then go to the Google Chrome store. Then you'll search for the app or the extension here called that says Scribe AI Documentation. SOPs and screenshots, I think it says. Okay, so you want to load that, and if you have that loaded and you have oh no, oh my gosh, guys, this error is why we have not been able to do our exercise for 3 weeks. I played around with this so much this morning, and I said, okay, I think we're good to go. I posted in the Facebook group, and then I tested it one more time, and I got this error. But I figured out how to get out of that error, and then I got to work okay. So let me try again. Now, there is a point in this exercise where I was getting the error, and all I did was log out and log back in, and I could pick up where I left off. That's what I had planned to talk to you guys about. So, all right, so I've just logged back in, so hopefully we'll see. All right, so my point is that when you have the Google Chrome extension loaded and you're looking at one of our exercises, if you hover over one of the white boxes, see we have like a red box and a green box, it doesn't happen, but on the white box, if you hover over, there's this little Star Trek badge, and you click that, and you have the sample company open. Magically, you can then look at both the sample company, sample account, and the exercise at the same time. Okay? All right. Now, when you do this, the first thing that it will do is put you in guide me mode. Okay? I prefer, what the guide me mode is it shows you each step one at a time, and you have to keep clicking next. I prefer not to have that, so I prefer to have that off. So I'm going to click guide me and turn it off. And what that does is then I just use my scroll bar. I'm going to hit bad. I don't like guide me. All right. Okay, so now what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our expense. Okay, so to do that, the plus new button has been replaced with the create button, which is a throwback because back in the day it was called quick create and so then it was new and now it's create again. So we're going to hover over the create button and select expense. I just refreshed my screen. All right, it worked. All right, so this is a new account, so there's no data in it, so we're going to have to create a new vendor. So for this expense, it's going to be rent expense. So it is Mannheim Properties. Okay. And then we're going to select add new Mannheim properties. And we're going to save this. So for those of you who have been around for a while, this is very familiar. The thing about the interface is that the interface was kind of like the last layer that they built, was like that top entry layer. They redid all of the under the hood stuff prior to changing kind of like that overlay. So once you get into it, it's very familiar. For those of you who have been using QuickBooks for a while, this expense experience is what we've been using for a while. Okay, so I created the vendor. Okay, we're also going to need to create the checking account because that doesn't exist yet. So I'm going to hit add new. Checking, account type is bank, checking. Okay, here we go. That's what I did right there. Now, when you are creating any account, especially your asset accounts, your bank accounts, you want to make sure that you never, ever, ever add an opening balance. Never include an opening balance. Somebody tell me why. Why is it that you don't ever want to just start with an amount of money? I will wait. And I'm going to make sure that my chat is all caught up. Lindsay Roberts says it creates opening balance equity. Yes, it dumps it into a dummy account. Yes, in QBO that's called opening balance equity because it posts an opening balance equity and that should be 0. There we go. Stephanie wins the prize. That's the one I was looking for because it doesn't track where the money came from. It just, if you put a money in here, it just is like magic. It just poof, magic is where the money, like we suddenly had, $50,000 in our checking account. Okay? No, exactly. Chris says you need the history. You need to know like always where the money came from. So you always want to start with 0 and then later you have transactions that affect the account. Stephanie says, I wish money appeared in my account magically. Don't we all? Don't we all? Okay, so good job, guys. All right, so we're going to click save. Okay, we're going to change the payment date. This was the first, this is the rent payment on the first of the month. Okay, so that was step 8. Stacy asks, why do they even have it as an option? The answer is because there are a few tiny situations when you would use it. And those tiny situations are when you are converting from, when your accounting software exists somewhere else. The whole point, who was it that said about the history? Chris. Because you need the history, right? Well, if the history exists in another software, you don't have to have the history in QuickBooks, okay? That's why. So, yeah, nicer reason. That's why. So the only time you would use it is if you had the record in a different system, but most of the time you don't. So, yeah, you're either starting fresh or you're converting and dumping everything from the old system into the new. All right, good question. All right, so we changed the payment date. Now we're gonna have, because this is a new company, we are gonna have to add some accounts. So if you're brand new, you might not realize that on the expense account, actually I don't even have it turned on to have items. But you have the choice of pulling from the chart of accounts or pulling from the products and services list. So in the category selection here, we're pulling from the chart of accounts. Now, this is a brand new company. There is no chart of accounts. Like, there's a handful of accounts in there that, there's a handful of accounts that were like pre-populated from QBO, but in general there's nothing. So we're going to create a new account. We're going to select the down arrow and select. So these are the ones that come with QBO, except for checking. That's the one we added, but the others automatically come with QBO. So we're going to create a new account. Okay. Now, this is important. This expense is for the company's building rent. Okay, so Mannheim Properties, I am renting some office space, and so this is the building rent, which should be a sub-account of a larger rent account in order to separate it from other things the company might rent, like equipment. Now, here's the big question for you guys. How do I know that? How do I know that it needs to be separated out? That things, that property you rent needs to be tracked separately from equipment you rent. How do I know that? It's not because I'm a magical being and I woke up. Lindsay Roberts, you win it. Doom, 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 doom. Different places on the tax return. There's a building and property rent category. You're talking about in here. There is no account here in the brand new account. There's nothing here. We are creating a new account. Okay, we're calling it rent. Okay, so let's say Lindsay Roberts says, I win it thanks to Fast Track. Jenna says, or Gina from the tax forms, that's right. Gina says she also learned that in Fast Track. That's right. So this is, I'm just going to start a new window here. Let's say that our business owner is a sole proprietor, okay? What tax form do sole proprietors file? 1040, yes. What's the form? Yes, Schedule C is what they add to, which is what they add to it. Very good. This is the kind of thing that you learn in Fast Track. So normally if I just type in Schedule C, this one is about Schedule C. This one is I guess that is the actual form. Okay, so here's the Schedule C. Okay, so you look at line 20. So you have to report rent or lease, and you have to separate it, vehicles, machinery, and equipment, from other business property. Okay, that's how I know that. That's the kind of thing. So Fast Track, for those of you who don't know, is the bookkeeping Fast Track. That is our foundational bookkeeping course. That's the one that teaches all of the basics, how everything works in bookkeeping and accounting. That's the one that gives you like the confidence to be able to converse with the CPAs and know that you are doing it correctly. So yes, Schedule C. All right. So let's see what happens. How much is going to be still there? Nobody, nothing. Mannheim Properties, checking is still there. Payment date, we've got to make the 1st. Category, we didn't ever finish creating it because I was talking too much as usual. So we're going to click rent. Let's get this done. This is an expense. This might be what you were talking about. Who was it that asked the question? It's gone now. There is in here a detail type, detail type called rent or lease of buildings. The detail type is really not for QBO. It is for the integration between QBO and tax software. So you can, we can use this detail type. You have to have a conversation with the accountant to know what detail types matter to them. Okay, but what we really care about is the account name and the account type, because that's going to determine where it shows up on the reports. Okay, so we're going to go, we created the rent. This is going to be the parent account. It's got both of those. Then I'm going to click Save and New. And now we're going to create the property rental account, which is the sub account. All right, expenses, rent or lease. We're going to make this a sub account. We're making it a sub account of rent. And you can see now how it's going to show up on the profit and loss. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to hit save and, well, they don't have save and close here. They just have save. It's so crazy. Why do they do that? All right, so now we're just going to put in the amount, which is going to be $1,200. You could put in, September rent. I don't have that in the exercise, but, if you needed to put in additional information. So now we're going to hit save and close. All right, so now we've got our expense. The whole point of today was to talk about the bank feeds. So let's do that. So what we're going to have to do, because we don't want to connect our training account to an actual bank, we're going to manually import just a couple of bank transactions so you can see how this works, okay? So the first thing you have to do is you're going to have to download the CSV file. So if I click this link, here's our CSV file. And then this little button, depending on, I don't know what computer, what browser, all of that good stuff, but on mine, I just have this little download button. All right, so now I've got that. Okay, so now I need to go back to my thing, and I'm going to click on accounting. Now, this is really important, guys. This is so important. For a long time now, when Intuit first released like this new version, this new thing, they have been calling each of these little buttons an agent, okay? Back in the day, we always called each of these things a center. Like this is the center. And when they first released this new version and they started calling it, oh, you're right, apps. They started calling it apps. You're right. You're right. They're calling them apps now. Okay. All right. But we still have to have a conversation about agents. We still have to have a conversation about agents because I just last week went to an AI adoption summit where we learned from the best of the best all about AI and its impact on the world, on businesses, on the world. And I've been talking about AI for bookkeepers for a while now. I just last night, for those of you who were on the call, I was like, Mike, we got to do an AI call because there's just so much to talk about. But here's the important thing I wanted to share with you that I learned that I did not know, I did not realize. When they use the term agent, okay, I thought that agent, and maybe you think this too, I thought that agent just meant an automated workflow, okay? I should stop sharing my screen so I can look at you, okay? Because this is so important. I was under the impression that an agent just meant an automated workflow, but that's not what it means. It's an automated workflow that learns, okay? It's an automated workflow that learns. So as we're going to go through this, you're going to notice that as they have implemented agents in each of these different apps, the whole purpose of that is to learn. My coach who led this summit and talked to us like all of this stuff, and he said, he says that this is the most important invention in human history. This is the first invention ever that the more you use it, the better it gets. When electricity was invented, electricity didn't get better just by us using electricity. But the more you use the agents, they're learning from you, and that makes all of the difference. Oh my gosh, that is such an important thing. All right, let me share my screen again. Enough preaching. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to, thank you, who is it, Melanie? Melanie, yes, apps. We're going to go to the accounting app. And we're going to have to refresh. All right. And we're going to try it again. There we go. All right. So I'm going to close up this guy right here just so I have some more real estate. And here is how we're going to upload those transactions. And here's what happened to me when I was testing this, is that when I went through this, I kept getting that error message. And the only way, like just now, I've been just refreshing my screen when I get that error message. But for this, I couldn't ever get out of it until I actually logged out and logged back in. So I might have to do that. You might have to do that. I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to click Upload Transactions, select the account. This is going to go into the checking account. And then the upload, we're going to go to however you find it. Here's the QBO sample. Yeah, and that's where I got the error message. So even if I refresh the screen, it won't ever let me do it. So I have to log out and log back in. I tried, Stacy's saying it's only when I'm using the scribe extension. I did try that, thinking that might be the issue, but that was not the issue. So for me, I had to just redo it. I should probably stop my share. Oh, I guess my whole thing is hidden. So this is what happened to me before. I had to get to it, and once I logged out, logged back in, I have to go to the gear icon, go to import data here, and do it this way. So now I'm back at the same screen I was before. See? Now, did you see that it added it just briefly and then it redirected me to this screen? So I have to do it again for some reason. But see, it's taking this time. So now I'm going to click continue. Okay? And even though I already told it that I wanted the checking account, I have to select it again. And then I click continue. Gina says it worked for me in the Chrome browser and without the Scribe extension. Joanne says she didn't have any issues. So good. All right, excellent. For me, I had predictable issues that I could work through it just right now. Lindsay, it's been fine. Okay, so who knows? So on this, the only thing that you have to change is, see, here's my little thing. If you get a QBO error message, log out and log back in. All right, so let's catch up with the exercise. All right, so here we are. The only thing you have to change, select, is the date format. So we're going to select just that first one, which is Common American. And then we'll hit continue. Okay, so what we're looking at now are the bank feed transactions. And I'm going to select, I want all to import all of them. So I'm going to click this top button. And then I'm going to hit continue. And yes. And done. All right, and I'm going to close this again. Now, the first thing that you'll get is this page that says Welcome to Accounting with AI. And there's some videos here, some training information, like all sorts of good stuff that you can learn. And this little button, see what's changed. Okay, so you can do that. You can come back to it. I think we're going to exit out of it right now, but I'm pretty sure you can come back to it. So we're going to click Go to Your Transactions. Oh, here's the tutorial page. That's if you want to go back to that. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at our brand new Intuit Bank Feeds Center. Okay, so much of it is the same. The tiles are skinnier and not as fancy. They took the icon out, but this is still the same. You can select the accounts that you want to look at. And if I had multiple accounts that were connected, that had bank feeds, you would see it across the way that you always do. This is new. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. You can link accounts. You can edit account details here. It's all it looks different, but it's all very similar. There is a little, there's a little icon right here that looks like it's like a chat thing. I cannot figure out what it does. I don't know how that number increases. So you can see the icon, the little number. So we have 3 bank feed transactions that we need to process. You'll notice that the words, like the tabs here changed. So it used to say, I can't even remember now. I can't remember now what it used to be. But categorized was it. Now it says posted. Excluded is still the same. So now we have just pending for the ones that we need to look at. Oh, here we can switch to the previous version if we. I'm afraid to do that because I don't want to get stuck and not be able to go back. So, all right. Anyway, so here are the bank feed transactions. Now, if you guys are new And I'm actually going to close my exercise here so I have some more room. Okay. So if you guys are new, then what you need to understand is that the bank information is just money in, money out. It has very little information about transactions. That's why we have the accounting software. We have the accounting software because the accounting software has all of the details about that money in. Bank just says money in, money out, money in, and there's a date, there's some kind of a description, but that's about it. It doesn't tell you what products were sold or bought. It doesn't tell you necessarily who the customer was. Doesn't always tell you the full vendor information. It doesn't tell you why that was done. Like, there's so many things that the bank doesn't have. That's why we have our accounting software. So we create transactions in the accounting software, but we want to make sure that we have captured everything that is actually affecting our money, what's going in and out of the bank. So the process of going through the bank transactions is matching the bank information to what already exists in QBO. And if it doesn't already exist in QBO, creating a record in QBO. Okay. Oh, thank you, Brenda, for review. It used to be for review. Now it says pending. Okay. And it used to be categorized and now it's posted. Thank you. I don't know. I just had a brain fart. I told you I'm all discombobulated today. Okay. So what we're seeing here is the date. Now I had in the instructions to change to click this to change the order of the transactions. I don't know why. It must have saved some settings from before. So anyway, I definitely want to work on this Mannheim one first. So make sure you're looking at that. Okay, so here's $1,200 spent, and it is already matching to that expense that I created. That's the ideal situation, is you create things in QBO first, and then the bank is just matching to what already exists. Okay, so it's matching. You'll notice this little icon right here. This little icon always represents AI insights. And so if you click on it, and this is Intuit's little AI information, and it says, hey, this is what I did. I found one expense with an open balance. There's important information about how we use generative AI. As I mentioned, the whole purpose of the agent is to get smarter. It's going to constantly learn. So when you first start using this, it's going to be kind of crazy. For example, it's suggesting property rental as the category for Central Perk and for Amazon. Okay, but we know that that's not right. So, but the more that you work on it, the better it's going to get. So here we know that with this is a match. I'm going to go ahead and say match. Now, these other two, we didn't create expenses for in the beginning. And so you can, just like you could before, you can actually create the transaction right from the bank feed. And honestly, that is going to be the majority of the work that you do. Even though the ideal situation, we all know about ideal situations, right? Things are rarely ideal. So the ideal situation is to create it first manually and then just have the bank feed match. But in real life, we usually, more and more, people are just creating stuff right from the bank feed. That's good. I mean, it's okay if you're a cash-based business. If you're accrual, then there are some issues with that. Certainly if your business is still writing checks, that's not a good thing to wait for the check to be cashed, because then it's a surprise when suddenly there's money taken out of your account. So anyway, as a bookkeeper, like this is the balance that you have to find. is how much you put in advance and how much you just work from the bank feeds. Okay, so I can say I can just do this right in the bank feed. Now, we're going to say, for the purposes of this exercise, that this was a team outing. Okay, Craig took his whole team to Central Perk for an all hands meeting. Okay, when that happens, the meal expense is an other expense. It's not related to travel. It's not related to clients. It's categorized differently than the other meals. Okay, because it's for the whole team. How do I know that? How do I know that? I know that because that's how the taxes are done. Okay, this is what we teach in Fast Track, is understanding how you need to categorize things for the benefit of the tax preparer. Okay, so this is like a key thing that you have to pay attention to. All right, so we're going to do something similar to what we did before, and we're going to actually create a different account. Okay, so we've got the expense here. It's certainly not property rental. We're going to add a new account. And the first thing we have to do is we have to create the other expense. Now, one of the things we talk about also in the course is there's two types of other expenses. There's other expenses that are not related to the actual functioning of the business, okay? And they are sorted at the bottom of the profit and loss in their own little section called other expense. If I select other expense right here, that's going to sort at the bottom, and you can see the types of things that are usually included in that little bottom thing, okay? Or you could use expenses and just call it other expenses and then have the detail type. Again, this is why you have to have a conversation with the accountant to make sure that you're doing things in a way that they appreciate, in a way that's going to make their job easier. So again, this is the kind of thing that we teach in Fast Track. So we have some options here. Entertainment meals probably is not what we want. Promotional meals is probably not what we want. In the exercise, I just put it as other business expenses. Again, if you look at the form, if you look at the tax form, you see that you have to group out the different types of other expenses. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to create it as new. And then what did I say was going to be the account name? Importing. Oh, in the exercise. Oh, in the exercise we had to do the vendor. Oh yeah, I haven't done the vendor yet. Sorry, I got distracted on the account. Okay, so we're doing the account now. We're calling the sub-account team meeting meals and expenses. Now, what you group this as just depends on the business. Like, is team meetings a thing that they have frequently that you want to make sure and track those? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It behooves you. I don't know. It is your responsibility to understand the business that you're working on and what makes sense to track, not just for taxes, but to actually help the business owner make decisions. Okay, so we're calling it team meals and expenses, and it's going under other expense. Okay, and now we're going to click save. Okay, and then we also have to select the vendor. Now, when you're talking about restaurants, gas stations is another one, hotels is another one. It's not super important to keep track of the actual name of the restaurant, gas station, or hotel. If you do that, your vendors list is just going to be like ginormous. So I actually prefer to just create a vendor name called restaurant. And then in the memo, it says Central Park. There's no reason to keep a separate vendor for a restaurant. You can, and some people do, but it's also very common to like group them together to make it easy. Okay, so we've got our vendor, we've got our account, and now we're just going to post. All right, so now what about this Amazon? Okay, how should I categorize Amazon? Well, we know it's not property rental. How should I categorize Amazon? I will let you tell me in the chat. Because Amazon is always only one thing, right? Right? All right, I'll just wait. Keisha says vendor. Right, exactly, Teresa. Yes, Teresa says, what did you buy? Gina says, ask the client. Wendy says, office supplies. I don't know. Maybe it's diapers. Like, maybe it's a desk. Maybe it's potato chips. Like, who knows? Like, you can buy, like Lindsay said, you can buy almost everything on Amazon. There's no way if you just saw, maybe it's a subscription to something, right? Maybe it's a subscription to Amazon Prime or, whatever. Big box of chocolate bars for team morale. That's right. It could be anything, okay? So when you're dealing with a store, like that, you absolutely have to have the documentation for what this is that you just bought. There's no way that you can just categorize it. Now, you might have a subscription to something. Maybe you have like a coffee subscription, and like every month you pay $30 and you get, like delivered this coffee or whatever, okay? Eventually, it'll recognize that when it's Amazon for $34.99 every month on the 14th, it'll recognize that. You can create a rule, or I think the AI will eventually pick up that that's what it is. But certainly in the beginning, and certainly like we have no idea, okay? So in the new interface, Intuit has a new little feature that allows you to ask a question. Excuse me. So this little plus button is, and you saw it for just a second, it said, anyway, request more info. Okay, so you can type blah blah blah, I need more info, or you can just click this little button, ask for more info, and boom, can you add some details on what this transaction is for? Then you add it to the request list. You generally don't want to add it and post, because you don't want to post it because you don't know what the details are. So that's why this one is in green. That's the one you want to typically use. So you're going to add it to your request list. And then you're going to wait and know. Now, one thing that bothers me a little bit is that it does not tell you, like there's no indicator that you have asked for you've requested it already. So, and if I click this, oh, That's interesting. That's not what it did before. Interesting. Okay, well, now if I click it, I have my response. You can mark it as complete, all of that stuff. When you're ready to send, you've gone through the bank transactions, you've collected all of these things, all of these requests, then you can send the requests. Now, notice that there's 2 requests there. And in the exercise, I only have 1 request, and we only clicked 1 because there's some kind of weird thing happening with QBO. I deleted one of the requests because I thought from the instructions, because I thought that I had accidentally added it, but actually I didn't. So we're going to click requests. This is the requests portal. And so, yeah, I don't know why there's 2 here. We're going to remove 1. I think, yeah, maybe I did make a mistake. Okay, so this is a request portal. And as you do each of those things, it'll have the list here. And then once you're ready to send the request to the business owner or the office manager or whomever, then you click send requests. And it will, you put in the email address. This is kind of annoying too. Like, I wish that it just had the email address already of the business owner in there. But you have whoever you're going to email it to. My company is called Livestream Demo. Okay. But yours, like whatever the company name is, that's what it'll show up as. And then you can notice it says, "Hi folks, we're using a new portal to collect info about transactions. Could you please answer?" And of course you can change this. And then when you send it, the link to the request list will be sent with this email. Now, I think it didn't ask me to check them off, but I think that you would check them off. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. So that check is just to mark complete or to remove. Never mind. I thought that you would select those and then those would be the ones to go to the person. But anyway, so that's the send requests, and that's all we're going to do today. This class comes from our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. Inside, you'll get access to a free QBO QuickStart course, over 100 hands-on exercises, weekly marketing tips, monthly drawings, and more. The link is below. Join us today. We'd love to see you there.